Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of B-Movie Bash. My name is Shannon.
I'm Alyssa.
And we missed you last week.
Yes.
I don't know who's going to notice, but
Yeah.
we went on hiatus.
Yes, sorry.
Because it was Alyssa's 8th wedding anniversary.
That's right.
What the fluff?
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah.
8 years.
You guys have been married for 6 now? No, 5?
Yeah.
Gosh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we've been together as long as you've been married.
That's right.
So.
Yes, because we conspired against them, my husband and I.
Against us?
Well, I mean, it was for the greater good.
Yes.
So, yes. No, we straight up got home from our honeymoon. We're laying in bed and we thought, you know who'd be perfect together? And then plotted. Yeah. Absolutely plotted to get them together. It was great.
And it worked.
Yes.
Somehow.
My maid of honor, Zach's best man.
It's magical.
It was wonderful. Yes.
Magical.
It was so good.
Anyway.
Speaking of magical.
Oh, no.
It's not this movie.
Okay.
So, today we are going to be talking about 2016's Gehenna, Where Death Lives.
You've told me that you watched this.
Yes.
That's all.
Have I told you about this movie?
I don't think you've told me about it.
Just that I've seen it?
If you did, I don't remember anything.
That's good.
Yep.
So, the synopsis of this movie.
Yes.
Real quick, and then we'll get into scores and all that. Developers searching for a location to build a new resort are trapped in a subterranean World War II bunker where they are confronted by an ancient evil.
Ooh, exciting.
Yes, it's not.
Oh,
okay.
No. I'm so sad already.
So it has a 4.9 IMDb score.
Okay.
That's gracious. It has a 50% Rotten Tomato and a 39% audience score.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Cool.
Yes. So we start with a black screen that has a dictionary definition of Gehenna.
Oh,
right?
no.
Yes. A most accursed place, destination of the wicked, right?
Okay.
And then, it is better for you to enter into life with one eye, rather than having 2 eyes be cast into Gehenna. Jesus, Matthew 18:19.
Oh.
Yes.
Bible.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So, it fades to black. We hear screaming.
Okay.
Saipan 1670 comes across the screen.
Okay.
And a man is screaming as he is tied to a boulder.
Oh.
Right. It's not my fault, the subtitles say, because he is screaming in Spanish.
Right.
And the indigenous people of Saipan are there, and they're the ones that have him tied to the boulder.
I don't know where Saipan is.
It's close to
Asia?
Japan.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
And I should have looked this up. I don't know what native Saipanians are called. I don't know if it's Saipanians or if it's it's Americans,
Saipanites?
Maybe? I don't know. So forgive me if I
sure.
just call them the natives because that's what the movie kept calling them. It's just the locals and the natives and stuff, right?
Okay.
So they're there, like the local indigenous people are there, and they are holding these 2 dolls made of what looks like beads.
Okay.
But I can't entirely tell.
Like
they
when
look
you were in 3rd grade and you made a little lizard out of beads?
Kind of, yeah. But it's like a head and hands and feet are the beads and stuff.
So
and
so
it's like, yeah.
Wobble dolls.
And yeah, they've got 2 of them. And one of them, who kind of seems like the leader, cuts the 2 apart from each other. They're tied together and he cuts the 2 apart. And he drops one on the ground and he tucks the other one in the Spaniard's shirt, right?
Okay.
And then they proceed to cut his face off.
What an opening.
Yes, they just like peel it off. He's just got no face no more.
Okay.
And he holds it up, yelling in triumph as everyone's like, yeah! Like, yeah, this is great. This is awesome.
Imagine being alive
right?
through that.
Yeah, he was alive. He never screamed, so I don't fucking...
If it would be worse, sorry, we're derailing, to be scalped or defaced. I feel like face.
I feel like face, yeah.
That's a lot of nerve endings in your face.
There's a lot of nerve endings in your head. I feel like it's all the same. It's
it
all
fucking sucks.
It's all up in the head.
Okay.
Yeah. So we transition to him waking up in a cave, and his face is like super bloody, obviously, because he doesn't have a face
muscle.
anymore. Yep. It's all muscle and shit. And he sees that the light is slowly fading out, and he looks up and looks over, and he sees that they are bouldering him in to a cave. Okay. And he runs over screaming, let me out, like it's not my fault, like just, just beginning to sob. Okay. And we see him wander back into the cave, and it's so dark. This movie is so dark. I can barely tell what's happening the whole time. Okay.
Good.
And
where did you watch it?
I watched this one on Tubi.
Okay.
I originally watched it on Netflix with Shalice and Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched it because of this scene I'm going to tell you about that we saw. Literally, we're just scrolling through trying to find, girls' night, movie night to watch.
Yeah.
And we saw the trailer and we're dying laughing at the trailer. So we had to watch it. And the first time you watch it, it's a trip, man, because you don't know what to expect.
Right.
You're like, okay, where's this going? What's happening next? Okay. You get to the end and you're like, fuck you. That's just, we'll get there. Okay. We'll get there. I have been trying to rewatch this movie, actually, to take my notes for this. I have tried maybe 7 times before this to watch it and take my notes.
I was gonna say, I feel like this has been on like your list of possible movies for like since we started. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And every time I get about 3 minutes in and go, nope. I just can't. I would start it on my Google Docs here, not watch it, like 3 weeks later, see that I had tried, delete it, try again, like a month later or so. Like, yeah, no, I've tried multiple times.
3 minutes.
So, and I kind of sat down and I was like, just fucking do it. Do it. Yeah. It took me like 3 days to watch it and take my notes because fuck, man. Anyway, so he wanders into the cave again, right? Yeah. And he sees this like fire light up. I guess it's by his feet. I don't know. You can't fucking see where it's coming from.
Okay.
And he looks up and we see the silhouette of a person, but we don't get to see who the person is. Okay. He goes, Dios mío.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And then the screen then fades into the opening credits. Okay. And they're so long. Next scene, a woman is in the water screaming and flailing, just freaking out, right? Jack, she keeps screaming over and over and diving below the surface.
Titanic.
There's a lot of Jacks, I know. And just, where are you? Keeps diving under and looking and then coming up and surfacing. And then it fades to a beautiful hotel room. Okay. And we're startled by some luggage getting knocked over by the bellboy. Okay. And Paulina, the same woman who was just in the water, is on the phone. And she just kind of like tells him to put the bags over there. And she's talking to her boss on the phone. And they're very vague about the conversation. I don't know why they were so vague about it. They were just like, yeah, I'm going to get all the monies and stuff. And then I'm going to get your office, right? Oh, don't come for me yet. I'm not retired yet. Kind of just
the most generic conversation.
Business talk. Like, I just, okay. Like, yeah. Like, I remember watching it again. I was like, right. That's what she does for business.
Talk. Okay.
Yeah. Like, anyway, they're just like, yeah, I'm certain I can make this deal go through, and yeah, soon enough I'll be in your office. And he's like, well, don't work too hard. Just enjoy yourself on the island. You're on a resort and blah blah blah, and just shit, right? Right. So the bellboy comes up to her and he is like, "Hola, welcome to Saipan," and hands her.
Wait.
They also speak Spanish.
That's what I don't understand.
I think it's because back in 1670, the Spaniards came over during like the Inquisitions and all that stuff, and was like taking over.
Spanish I think it's the Philippines, don't they?
Yeah,
maybe. It's
but they also speak Japanese in the Philippines because it's so close to Japan.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's probably just one of those like southeastern.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
You know what? We have Google.
We do.
Keep talking.
Anyway, so he hands her a pair of these little teeny tiny little beaded dolls, okay? Mm-hmm. And he says, "These are your Bojobo dolls." Bojobo? I think so. Bojobo, yeah. Bojobo. Dolls. And explaining their importance to the natives, depending on how you place them, a certain wish will be made. She's ignoring him the whole time.
Okay.
Oh, and she shoves just like some money in his hand, like, "Here, thanks for taking my bags and stuff." And he's like, "Oh, well, thank you." And then continues on with the story, explaining that it's mostly toys for children, right? Okay. Where's Saipan?
So yeah, here's Japan.
Uh-huh.
And way down in here next to Guam, way down in here. That's Saipan. So little. It's just a little guy.
I love it. How cool. It looks gorgeous. My
friend went to Guam.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he's in the military.
Oh yeah.
He's in the Air Force, so he was sent there. But it looks beautiful. That's all.
Yeah. Oh no. From the parts we got to see outside, wowza.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow. just amazing. Like, I just...
Wow.
It was really pretty, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's like trying to tell her that the dolls are mostly for children, right? And she pauses and she looks down at them and then she thanks and takes them, right? Just kind of like, okay.
Great.
And then she tells him that he can go. And then she goes down, she goes down to the resort bar where she runs into Tyler, which honestly, I think Tyler and Dave's names should have been changed because Dave is like this, like, maybe 21-year-old kid, and Tyler is very clearly in his late 30s, and I'm just like, you've never met an adult Tyler.
No.
Like,
or a child Dave.
Dave, exactly.
Yeah.
I know his name is David because they call him David, but, like, it's just... I feel like Dave is such an old guy name when David is a younger guy name.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's, it's, anyway. So she runs into Tyler. He's their architectural consultant, okay? And they chat for a moment, just kind of like, yeah, how you been lately? Just,
oh boy.
kind of,
They have
just
history.
a little. They've worked together a lot before, so they know each other pretty well because they work together. When they're approached by Alan, and he's the asshole of the movie.
Good.
He is also Saint Nick from My Christmas Movie.
Oh no.
Yeah. However,
Merry Christmas, puppet.
yeah,
like
that guy,
oh,
right?
Great.
Except I was like, why does he look so familiar? Okay. Except he did this movie well before he did the other one.
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time at Christmas, and his acting got worse.
I think it was just
like,
that role.
I
what are you gonna do with that role?
I don't know. It's because I feel like Gehenna took itself way more seriously. Like, they were actively trying to, like, they were like, no, this is gonna be
a good movie.
This is a good movie, yeah, and it
wasn't that.
No, I don't think so. Apparently 4.9% believe it did though. But anyway, he's the asshole of the movie, right? I'll tell you in a second. Yeah. We see Dave walking past, and he's wearing a shirt that has kanji on the front of it.
Okay.
And a bunch of Japanese girls that are vacationing there just keep giggling and running past him, right?
Okay.
And so he comes up, and he's like, Tyler, what does my shirt say? I bought it in Japan, And Tyler reads off the kanji in Japanese, and it says, I'm America's #1 pervert.
Oh.
Right? So that's why all the girls are giggling at him and stuff. And Dave is upset that the salesman, like, sold it to him and told him it's a really funny shirt. And they're like, it is. Like, It's just not to you, right? So Alan was like, Tyler, I didn't know you spoke Japanese. And he's like, oh, I'm really shit at pronunciation, but I can stumble my way through a sentence through a conversation, and I can read it really well.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's good. He works in this area a lot. You need to talk. Paulina speaks Spanish though, so she does a lot of that, and they figure out the movie between the two of them. So, Yep.
That's lucky.
Yep. Alan goes, well, I prefer to speak in dollars and cents, a language the whole world knows.
Oh gosh.
And I was like,
you're that guy.
This is who he is.
Yeah.
Okay. He's very good at being like the assholey, like, kind of bad guy.
Maybe
so,
he's
like,
an asshole.
I guess.
Did he have an accent?
Kind of. It was not nearly as, like, hyped up.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Not my Christmas love. Like, yeah, no, just it wasn't nearly that bad.
Sweetheart. That's what
Sweet
it
art.
is.
Yeah. It's just,
I was trying to remember the word.
yeah. Thank you. He was just sounded way more like natural. It was just like he was just.
That's good.
Yep. So they get into a very beat up van and meet Pepe, okay, their driver, who is a woman now, okay, but I'm going to keep saying he in the context because Pepe was playing a man.
Okay.
So I'm just letting everyone know that.
Okay.
Okay. But the actor is female now. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now.
At least that's everything I've seen on IMDb. That could be wrong. Maybe somebody updated it wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
But the only thing I'm going to say, though, actress that played Pepe, it's a really good thing you didn't make that today.
Okay.
Because this is one of the most stereotypical, like, it's bad. Right? At one point, Pepe goes, I think I hear something.
Oh, no.
Just like that. I'm not joking.
I mean, it was 2016. The
Yeah.
culture was not that different.
Yeah.
So, like...
But, like, I can't remember, if the gorilla was still alive or not. So, like... Harambe, yeah. So, Harambe changed everything.
Harambe changed all... That was 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Because that year was a big year.
Yeah,
that was the year everyone died.
Yeah.
I think Harambe was part of that.
Yeah, that's when Alan Rickman and David Bowie died. So yeah.
And Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Big year.
That was a big year.
Yeah. And the Clowns, I think, were 2016, too.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a fucking year,
That was a year. There was, like, you look back and you're like, what happened? Anyway,
Right.
yeah.
And we thought 2020 was weird.
I know.
Yeah.
2020 was awful, but 2016 was weird. But it was Harambe. Harambe is what set us into this alternate universe that was COVID-19. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway.
I believe
it. Yeah, so they get into the very beat up van and meet Pepe, their driver, who is a local, and is taking them to this other site that they're thinking of building a resort on. Because these people are resort builders. That's what they do.
I love that job.
I know, right? And Paulina is the one who goes and scouts everything, and she even tries to see if a site is worth it and just, all that stuff. And so as they're driving out there, they notice, like, on the TV that's playing nearby that there's a bunch of the locals that are protesting people wanting to build there, right? Mm. And Paulina explains that she's like, well, during World War II, many of the locals had gone missing, and they were probably kidnapped by the Japanese and worked to death, so the locals want to put up a memorial, probably. Like, that's what she's just assuming, right?
Okay.
And Pepe is like, so she says, so that if they obtain the land, they should make the memorial part of their construction. Like, that should just be a big thing they want to do, right? And Pepe explains that it's actually sacred burial ground because the early Spanish colonies brought disease and bad men.
Also, the island is as big as a pinhead.
Yeah,
so maybe they just want to keep some of their land.
Right, I know. They already, she's already staying in a massive resort, so yeah. I just don't understand, why they need to make another massive resort. But as they drive, they just kind of keep discussing who was worse, whether it was the Spaniards or the Japanese who kept mistreating the locals. And, I was just like, this is a lot of bashing on people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. But Pepe says that they believe that it's sacred burial ground, but it's actually cursed ground because that's where a lot of the Spaniard, murders took place back in 1670 kind of, it's just, right. Yeah. So they pull up to this chain link fence, and Pepe gets out to unlock the gate, and they see a bunch of the dolls tied to it, the Bojobo dolls, right? Paulina's just like, oh, they're just good luck charms, blah, blah, blah. And Pepe's like, not always. But he always keeps turning and going, not always. In this, he talks pretty normal most of the time, but then
he's like,
yeah, and just, he says the way you tie, the way they're tied makes the wish. These mean, and then goes in a super creepy voice again, we should keep out. Just like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think my Pepe impression is actually pretty good. So, so they drive through the gate, and Pepe's a little unnerved by the Bojobo dolls because although he likes to be like, oh, superstitious bastards, blah, 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 he's still, it's his...
He's a little stitious.
He's a little stitious, yeah. So they all go on, they pull up, and they get this gorgeous view of the ocean, and they're just walking around looking at things and stuff. And Tyler and Paulina are alone, and they start talking about the layout of the resort, and she's like, oh, we could do this, and do that, and do this, and balconies. And he goes, I don't think so. I think you should play up into, the actual scenery, and you have 3-tier bungalows, and you make it a honeymoon resort. It's all for couples. And she goes, oh, that's actually a really great idea, because then they keep playing with the landscape and they're just talking for a good minute. And then they kind of start, so how you been? Kind of, it's fine, And then Alan and Dave pull up, and Paulina's like, hey, get out your drone. I want aerials of the whole land. And so he pulls out his drone and they lets it go up, right? As it's flying above, they see that there are 2 people walking, in a land or in an area they're not supposed to be, or that nobody goes to, and not that they're not supposed to be there, but
I mean, it's a locked gate,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, but
yeah,
they're locals and stuff, and they're all like, why would they be all the way out here if this is cursed land and stuff? And Pepe was like, oh, it's probably just them going to the bunker, and Alan is like, and they're like, bunker? What bunker? And he's like, it's more like a machine gun nest, from when the Japanese were building all over the island. It's not a thing. It's not a problem.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. And she's like, well, we're gonna have to see it anyway. Oh my fuck, And so they're like, okay, we'll go to see it. And so they're walking along, and they come across these set of rocks that look like the same set of rocks from the beginning of the movie that the Spaniard was tied to. And Dave says that he's read books and he knows that they're latte stones, right?
He's smart. Latte
stones?
Okay.
Yeah. And Pepe is screwing with Dave a little bit, and he was like, yes, these are sacred stones. They lead to the sacred grounds. And then laughs it off. And Alan's like, he's screwing with you. And I was like,
that was a funny joke.
That was so funny.
Okay.
I don't know. So they head out again. following the path, and they come across the two people that they saw before at the mouth of this bunker, like this big old metal door bunker thing that goes underground, okay? And the one is just kind of standing there, looks like to be his muscle kind of a thing, and the other one is kneeling down praying, okay?
Oh.
And so Pepe comes up and starts yelling at them that they need to leave in Spanish, he said Spanish, but it didn't sound like Spanish to me, so I'm not sure which Spanish they're using.
Yeah.
But, like, he went up and started...
a weird mixture of something.
Yeah, so he goes up and starts yelling at him to leave. And the witch doctor, is what they called him, stood up and is wearing a very leathery mask.
No.
That looks quite familiar.
Leather face.
Like the face of the guy they cut off at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, that had very much dried out and was just... Like, like, they've been wearing it for 300 plus years now, you know? So, yeah.
Cool.
I don't know why I put dun. Anyway, so Pepe, again, tries to chase them off, and they do eventually leave. One of them dropping a beaded doll by accident, or the witch doctor dropping the beaded doll by accident, okay? Which Dave picks up and pockets.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
How about fucking no?
So Dave pockets it. I'm sure he was probably like, oh, we'll get it back to them somehow, kind of a thing, you know? Like, Dave seems like he's a good kid. So. Okay. And they're kind of looking into it, and Paulina's like, how deep does this go? And Alan's like, I don't know. It's fine. Can't we just, like, build over it or something? So they look at Tyler, because they're like, could we just build over it? Yeah. And he goes... it could cause structural damage. And so they're like, Kate, let's go inside. So they have to go see inside, right? Because if you're putting hundreds of tons of building on top of this and it collapses, that's fucking bad.
I mean, just build it away from that.
I know. So it's super dark inside. So they start using their, like, phones as flashlights. And Tyler's got a flashlight. Paulina's using her phone. Alan the dickwad has a lighter, and Dave is using a big camera light on his camera to see, and is recording the whole thing too, because Paulina's like, I want all of this, yeah. So they start to explore, and they see lots of things from World War II, like globes and pictures and empty cans of food, like stacks of empty cans of food, right? Okay. And just papers, just tons of stuff all over the floor, right? And they're looking, they see this one photo on the floor, it's like glass is broken, and they're just pointing out certain things. You're just like, oh, okay, that's, you know.
That's a thing.
That's a thing, right? And Dave's Dave doesn't want to go in there. He's like, I really don't want to go. I don't want to go. This is creepy. Let's not go, right? But they go even further. And they come across some barracks, like the sleeping quarters. So it's like the bunk beds and stuff. And they go in, and Paulina runs into skeletal remains, right? And they're all freaking out for a second. Yeah. And Alan is like, I had no idea that was down here. Like, I promise I had no clue that was here. And he was like, don't worry, we'll get Pepe and a crew to take it out. Like, I mean, to be honest, I would have assumed that, like, somebody went down there to, you know, you know. Unalive themselves, yeah. Or, like, thought... well, hey, this is free place to live kind of a thing. Yeah, free shelter kind of a thing. But, like, yeah. So they're all kind of freaking out, and they decide to leave that room. You know, Dave lingers for a moment, just kind of staring at the body, just being like, what the, you know, and Tyler gets him to come along, right? And he's just super unnerved. Anyway, they continue further down, and they come across another hallway, and they see one of the old-timey guns laying on the ground, World War II guns, right? Mm-hmm. And then they see 2 more skeletal bodies. Oh. One is a woman who's been shot in the head. Oh. And the other is a man who's just kind of like leaning up against the wall next to her. Okay. And they're like, what the hell would a woman be doing down here in war times? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, maybe she was a spy, or maybe she was a captured prisoner of war kind of a thing. And Paulina's like, she's wearing slacks. They didn't wear slacks. And like, women didn't wear slacks in the 40s, not paying attention to the fact that they are pink slacks. It's fine.
More recent clothing anyway.
Very modern, you'd say. Yeah. Extremely modern.
Modern is what I would say.
Yeah, like something she herself would wear. So they debate for a while.
What is happening?
Yeah, they debate for a while, but then they were like, Pepe does his famous, shh, I think I hear something line, and I wanted to slap him the entire time he talked like that, because I'm like, you don't want to talk like this, I'm sure. Like, no. I don't.
Didn't you have some objections for the director?
I know, but at the same time, I'm like, I mean, get your money where you can, kind of a thing, you know? Like, it's...
At what expense?
It's, yeah. They see another room that they kind of go into, and I cannot tell you the layout of this place. No. Like, it's worse than horror movies. Like, I don't understand how at all. No idea. No clue.
Okay.
Right? So they go in to this room and they see that it's where a bunch of like food supplies have been kept. Okay. But like everything's empty. Like
it's a nice walk-in pantry.
Yeah, kind of like all these wooden shelves and stuff. And they're hearing like kind of noises, right?
Oh, no.
And so they're like, hello, is someone in there? And then they see something kind of get up from behind one of the shelves and come towards them.
Oh no.
And we get the scene that made me watch this movie.
Okay. Was it Gollum?
Gollum's prettier than this.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes. Okay. So all skin and bones. Just absolutely, like, the biggest part on him is his rib cage because of how big rib cages are. Okay. Just
because bones.
Shambling at them like a fucking puppet, man. It's so fucking funny. It's so funny. I will show you the scene in a little bit.
Okay.
But it's not meant to be funny.
Right.
They're all freaking out. Who the fuck is this guy? Why is he only skin and bones? Like, he literally just looks.
Why is he running at us?
Yeah, why is he running at us, okay? He rushes past Tyler and Paulina and bumps into Dave, goes straight to Alan, grabs onto him, starts going, Alan, you need to get out! Get out! Get out! And Alan, freaking out, shoves him because... You know,
what the fuck else?
What the fuck else? And I'm sure that's probably like pushing like a 10-pound bag of sand away from you. Ugh. Like, yeah. Smacks into the wall. Okay. Hits his head. Blood is coming out of his head as he slides to the floor. Yeah. And they're all like, oh my gosh, what the hell? And Alan was like, he attacked me. And I'm like, dude, calm down. Because it's not what I would be worried about. I would be like, oh my gosh, is he hurt? I wouldn't be worried about you pushing him. I saw him come at you. Yeah. Like, anyway.
You don't need to defend yourself.
You don't need to defend yourself, right? But he looks up and just starts going, Alan, you must die. Right?
What the hell?
And then kind of like... So Paulina leans closer and is like, oh my gosh, is he dead? And she gets closer and he grabs her and goes, your fault. And then dies.
Oh boy.
Yes. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, and they're all like, what the fuck? Kind of a thing. And just freaking out. Well, Alan immediately starts trying to, it was an accident. You saw him coming at me. Give me that tape. I'm not just,
Oh, boy.
And Paulina's like, we need to call the police. And he's like, you don't have to get the police involved in this. She's like, yeah, we fucking do.
It's a dead person.
It's a dead person, yeah. But again, I really can't for any reason imagine why someone would be like, oh, yeah, you just fucking murdered that guy.
Yeah,
like,
if it's on tape, you can see that it's self-defense.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, he was super decrepit and, like, old, like... Probably couldn't defend himself,
like
but like
fear reflex.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I really don't understand why anyone would be like, oh yeah, he needs to go to jail. No, like it's stupid to me that they thought that was like a thing to anyway. But again, it's just kind of how Alan is as a person, you know. Yeah. So suddenly, as that all happens, the whole bunker begins to shake.
Oh boy.
And they're all kind of falling, and they're like, whoa, what the hell? We need to get out of here. This place is probably like caving in, right? And then all of a sudden there's a high-pitched ringing. Okay. Oh, no. So much so that they're all covering their ears and screaming in pain because it's just that loud. Okay. Right? Everyone wakes up a short time later. Okay. Paulina just kind of like sits up and they're like, oh, what the hell? The lights that were, because they had like the light bulbs and just like power lines like stuck to the walls are now on, which they were broken before.
Okay.
They weren't working.
Did not work. Okay.
But now they are. Dave is super upset that Alan broke the light on his camera. He's like, you broke most of my camera here. Like, it's freaking out now. Like, you're going to have to pay for that, blah, 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 blah. But then they notice that the guy that they just pushed is gone. Mm-hmm. The two bodies they just saw
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. We just went through this. Why are you doing this?
I know.
It's time travel. No.
So, yes. They're just like, this is, oh my gosh, like, we need to get out of here. Come on, let's get out. And the whole time, Paulina's like, this doesn't seem right. Like, this doesn't seem right, you know? Yeah. And as they're walking along, because they're all going back to the door to try to get out. She's opening doors as they're walking along. She sees as she opens the food pantry door, it's perfectly restocked. She sees the barracks room that they were in before, perfectly stocked. The body's gone from in there, too. Like, there's just...
like, stuff on the bed.
There's, stuff. Like...
Bedding on the bed.
Yeah. It looks like people were just using this.
Yeah.
So.
Because they were.
Mm-hmm. So they go back to the door. It will not budge. They can't get their phones to work. And I'm like, I normally can't stand movies that don't give you a good reason why your phones aren't working. But
being back in time.
Not having cell towers and being under a metal bunker that is supposed to survive a bomb blast is kind of understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what they're doing. And then they hear Pepe starting to pray. And they're like, shut up, Pepe. Shut up, Pepe. And he's like, hey,
leave him
like,
alone.
Right?
If he wants to pray.
I know.
Jeez.
They maybe shouldn't have let him pray.
I would die then, I guess.
Right? So Dave is going all like, okay, there has to be some kind of back entrance here because they wouldn't have just built a bunker that only has one entrance that they can't get out of, right? So there has to be some kind of back entrance. Let's go find it. So they start exploring again. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get out of here. Well, Alan and Pepe split up from them because they're like, fuck you guys. We don't care, fuck off, And Pepe just starts going on about how this is a cursed place. The ancients were right. He shouldn't have come here. None of us are going to get out. Like, just all that stuff. And Alan is like, I'm going to fucking slap you. Shut up. Like, as they're exploring, they find an old-timey radio and get on and are trying to ask for help. But Pepe can't read Japanese, so they're out of luck. And they're like, Tyler! And they get up and they run after Tyler, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the other group pushed their way back into the same office that they were in before, finding maps and battle plans and, like, a big bloody mess on the floor. And a big old knife laying there. And they're, well, I shouldn't say knife. It looks like a short katana, kind of, I don't know what those are called, but it's
like a handheld but big knife.
Yeah, but it's like a katana blade kind of. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what those are called. Yeah. Anyway, for a fucking weeb, you'd think I would know what that's called. Anyway, Tyler finds a diary on the ground that looks like it's been soaking up the blood. Okay.
Ew.
Right? And kind of starts to read at it, but not that big of a deal. Anyway, Dave can't handle all of this. He goes out to the hallway trying to get like a breather or something, right?
Yeah.
And runs into a Japanese guy.
Oh.
Dressed in a soldier uniform.
Fuck.
Holding a gun at him.
Oh, no.
Right?
You're in trouble now.
Yep. Well, Tyler, back in the room, is reading the journal, and he just opens up to one page that says, my sins are too many. They haunt my dreams. I will make amends with my life, and the dreams will stop.
Oh, boy.
And so they were like, well, I guess he made the dreams stop, right? That's when the Japanese man leads Dave into the room with the gun, and they're all like, whoa, sir, whoa, hello. And Tyler's like, oh, hello, we don't mean you any harm, what's going on? And the Japanese guy is like, how did you get in here? And the man responds that there's no way out, right? You just can't get out. There's no way. And Tyler holds out the journal to him.
Why?
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. Like, why?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of this movie I don't agree with.
Okay.
I didn't write it. That's for sure.
Okay, so, I know.
There's some of it that I'm like, oh, I like that. I like that a little bit. But fuck the rest of the movie.
What's the point of a bunker?
Yeah.
If you can't leave the bunker to
go
to war.
I know. You'll see. Okay. So Tyler holds out the journal. He's like, is this yours? And the Japanese man kind of reaches for it. And he just goes, I've done too many awful things. And then holds up the gun at them. And they're all like, no, please don't. And he shoots himself in the head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Takes himself out, right? And that, right then, Alan and Pepe hear the gunshot, so they come busting in. And they're like, who the fuck is that guy? Right? Like, 'cause I would be like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, he just came in here and fucking shot himself. Like, just, And Alan is just like, okay, well, I just found a fucking radio, and it's all in Japanese. And Tyler's like, okay, let's go. And so they get out of the room because they're like, fuck being in here, And Pepe stays, though, because he sees the man and he just kind of starts praying and is like, oh my gosh, nobody's getting out. Oh my God. Cool. Just kind of going off, right? So in the radio room, Tyler starts messing with the radio, trying to get it to work, but all he gets in response is a recorded message saying that, like, civilian suicide will give you the same status as, like, military suicide and stuff. Like, just, basically they're just telling a lot of Japanese people to kill themselves.
Okay.
I think it was right there at the end of World War II where they were losing. And so they were just like, kill yourself before you get caught kind of a thing. Cool. So, like, it was really fucked up.
Fun.
Anyway, so Tyler keeps, like, kind of clicking around the radio trying to find something different when he hears, kill her, Tyler.
Oh, no.
On the radio. And he's like...
Through the radio?
Yeah. And turns
like,
it off.
Switch that bitch.
And they're like, what is it? And he's like, it's just static. It's just static. And they're like, okay, all right, Alan starts arguing with everyone about being stuck down there, and they decide to keep exploring. It's just a lot of arguing. Pepe is praying over the Japanese man's body when he finds a Bojobo doll in his pocket. Okay, and takes that out of his pocket, right?
Why are people taking people's dolls?
I don't know.
Stop it.
Yeah.
If you see any doll,
right?
don't fucking touch it. My God.
So he's got that doll, right?
Okay.
And looks up and he sees a very decrepit old woman. And he's like, Mother?
What?
Right? And she goes, you were born of me, therefore I have the right to kill you. But she says it in Spanish. And he's like, he looks down and he sees the knife that was on the ground, the bloody knife that was right there. And he's like, yes, madre. And just like brings the knife up to himself. Okay. The others find a cave entrance and start to follow it down a little bit. It's so long, them walking down this fucking cave. It's stupid. It's so long. There's so much of this movie that's just like, it's dark and I can't see anything and you're taking forever. Why are we doing this? Like, why? Just get to it. Just they get down to like flat ground and they find more latte stones that look exactly like the ones up outside. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and there's a bunch of Bojobo dolls painted on the walls. Okay. And Dave goes, I read a book about this stuff once, the first Bojobo dolls and everything, and he believes that this is the burial site for an ancient chief and his bride, that their love was eternal, and that's why all the dolls come in pairs now. They had been separated, and her body was above ground while his was kept in this cave, so there came about a terrible curse. And a commander of the Spanish army was punished for the suffering of their people and left down here as well, believed to still be alive. Thank you, Dave.
Wow.
Thank you, Dave. Not Pepe. Not
the
Dave.
Entire story.
That whole fucking... And the whole time, though, I was like, okay. But why were they separated?
Yeah.
Why were they taken apart from each other? Because as far as I'm aware, it was the natives that did it, not the Spaniards. Okay. The natives separated their bodies.
Okay.
I don't fucking know. I don't know. I'm angry about that, for sure. Like, I am... livid. Angry. Yes. I'm livid. And I watched that scene multiple times and maybe I'm just stupid. But like, which I am. But like,
shut up.
I'm not that stupid, okay? There's no way. I don't understand. I don't understand why they were separated. I don't understand.
It's times like this I wish we did video because the amount of hand and body gestures happening right now.
I'm just livid. I'm so mad. It doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, so Alan goes, that's just a bunch of bullshit. And Dave yells back, these people believed in it enough to write it or to paint it on the walls.
There's been a lot of things
painted on walls. People also write in toilet stalls.
What?
I don't understand. I'm sure they didn't have much else to do, Dave. Nope. Like, I'm sure surviving is one thing, but like, they gotta pass on their stories fucking somehow. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Fucking everyone since the dawn of time has been writing on walls.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what they did.
So I think that's a bullshit argument.
Yeah.
It's a bullshit argument.
They believed in it, so it was true.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay.
This is history because it is.
Yeah, and I love Harry Potter, but I don't believe it is fact. So like,
well, then you live in a sad world.
Yes, I mean, I'm just bitter that I never got my son's letter. So, yep. But I'm just like, I love that Dave conveniently read the one book that he needed to know about this place when he got here. Like, just, yeah.
He just like grabbed all the Saipan books and was like, these are the stories of what I need to know.
Exactly. Anyway. So Dave turns around and he sees a girl in a floral dress staring at him. Okay. And he goes, Claire? And stares at her, okay? And she starts floating upwards. Okay. But kind of like floating upward, And we see that her
How do we describe that for the people?
It's like
possessed floating
upward. Like her head's kind of lolling back and like her arms are just kind of at her sides. She's floating up and her stomach is bleeding. Okay, like it's bleeding through her dress. Okay. And then her very dead own face comes from between her legs.
What?
Okay.
No.
The body then drops down and her face is where, like, the creepy face is where her normal face was just seconds ago, and she starts to chase after him.
What the fuck?
Dave trips, dislocates his leg, apparently. I don't know what he dislocated. Dislocated fucking something. I don't fucking know. He just starts, right. And so they run over, and they're like, oh my gosh, Dave, are you okay? And Tyler's like, oh, I think you're... I just don't care about their dialogue. Sorry. So Tyler's like, oh, it looks like you dislocated all he says is, it looks like it's dislocated. I did this when I was a kid. And pops it back into place. I don't know what, just that it's dislocated, and he puts it back in because he's fucking Tyler, the fucking architectural consultant
slash doctor.
All right. That is supposed to also be the hot guy bad boy. He's not.
No.
He's sweet, but he's not. Anyway.
I thought he was an asshole.
No, that's Alan.
Oh, right.
Alan's the asshole.
I was picturing Alan for some reason. Okay.
Who looks like so much younger in this movie than he did they
did some bad things to him in Saint Nick.
Really, I mean, I know he had fake teeth and like his eye was like fucked up, but like he looked so much older.
I mean, you didn't even realize it was the same guy when you watched Once Upon a Time, right?
Yeah.
So like,
I was watching this one and I was like,
wait a minute,
who is that? Yeah, and I had to go look it up, and I was like, no fucking way, because I didn't hear his voice. Like, anyway, sorry. So they pop it back into place, and they decide to take him back up to the barracks because he shouldn't be walking on his leg, right? So they get him up there, okay? Well, Alan goes off doing his own shit, and he finds the office room. Oh, no, the room that they were in before wasn't the same exact room, not the one with the war plant. Sorry. Where they found the bloody mess was not the room that they found. This is now the war plan room that they found the first time before when it was all, like, disgusting and broken and, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, now it's perfectly in place.
Right.
Sorry. I did my notes weird on that. My bad.
You're good.
Now it's perfectly in place, okay? And he believes that the natives are screwing with them. He thinks they're on a different level. Like, that there's, like, levels of the bunker, and that they knocked them out and put them on a different bunker because they're protesting them doing the land here. Okay. And he thinks that they have the bunker upstairs absolutely disgusting, and the bunker downstairs is pristine, so they can trick them into thinking that they've gone back in time.
That's fucking elaborate.
I know. I would have liked that more, honestly. But like,
part of me was like, wait, is that what's happening?
Yeah. But right then, Pepe comes into the room. His shirt's gone, and he's cutting himself with the knife, so he's just bleeding. Right? He and Tyler are like, what the fuck? Yeah. And Pepe just goes, or that he's a witness now, and that the spirits have told him that he's a witness, and that someone must carry their pain. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I'm so confused by this. Anyway.
He's a witness.
So, yeah. He's a witness. Alan tries to punch him. Bit of a overreaction, but like, I mean, I guess if you want to get the knife away from him. Anyway, but Pepe catches it like fucking, like, just daredevil. Just,
he's a really good lawyer.
Catches it, yeah. And throws him back against the wall. And he goes, the spirits protect me. And then laughs maniacally as he goes out of the room.
Okay.
Oh, and that he should have listened to his ancestors. Honestly, our white people ancestors were being like, fucking take over everywhere, so that's what Alan's doing. If that's what you want. Or are you saying, Pepe, listen to your ancestors? Because
mine are saying colonize. I don't know about yours.
I don't know about yours. Like, my ancestors. My ancestors are from Scotland, so like there's that.
From Wales and Norway.
Yeah. So anyway, so they're back in the barracks. Dave is trying to get some rest when he hears a noise in the corner. Okay. Paulina's sitting in another corner on a chair, just hanging out.
How could you rest at all in here?
I don't know. What? I have no idea. No clue. I would never. I just
would not sleep.
Right. So the same woman in the floral dress is suddenly sitting in the corner with her back to him and just starts like craning her head back until it's all the way back. No. And he's like, kind of freaking out, right? And then starts crawling at him backwards, upside down. Okay. And he's like, I'm sorry, it was an accident. And suddenly she's up underneath his sheets in his face, choking him, screaming, you killed me. Right. And right. Paulina hears a little bit of a noise, turns around and sees that he's choking himself. Like he is full on gripped, choking himself. So she runs over, barely manages to get his hands right off of his own neck. And he's like, she was choking me, he whispers. And he's like, my sister, there was an accident. And she's like, you don't have to tell me. And I'm like, what accident? Yeah. What accident are we talking about that she could possibly blame you for, or that you are blaming yourself for? That involved, like, did you stab her accidentally because her stomach was bloody? Like, I was over here thinking that it was, like, a girlfriend that, like, miscarried and died
pushed her down the stairs.
Something like that. It's his sister.
His sister died in the womb and he did something to his mom.
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know.
Like, anyway, so I don't think they thought it through either, because Paulina goes, you don't have to tell me. And that's it. That's the last of it.
Like, we don't really have a story for this.
Yeah,
so
no,
like,
we don't fucking know.
We're not gonna fucking tell it.
Yeah.
Cool.
No.
Sweet.
No.
All right.
That's it.
I hate in movies when they're like, oh, my sister, accident. Oh, and you're like, just say words.
Yep. Like,
oh.
Either you wait a minute and you tell me, or you just shut up.
Or just shut up.
Just shut up. Because I don't want to fucking sit
You don't
here.
need to tell me.
I don't need my 6 parts of TikToks going on right now, okay? Like, thank you. Anyway, so she's like, you don't have to tell me. And he's like, in the end, do you think we have to pay for our sins? And she goes, I hope not. Okay, right? And
doesn't tell me what you believe, but
right?
okay.
And then Dave holds up the doll that he got from the witch doctor outside that fell.
Yep.
And he goes, the witch doctor outside dropped it. Maybe if we can get the female doll and the male doll back together, it will fix things. Thank you, fucking Dave, for knowing all of this. I feel like Pepe should be the one giving all of us this information because he is a local.
God fucking damn it, Dave.
Exactly, yes. How do you know this? You read this book tells you all of this? Like, fuck, are you...
He's really smart.
I guess.
He's putting it all together.
I'm so confused. I don't understand. Anyway. So back in the war office, Tyler thinks that they've gone back in time.
Right.
Alan thinks it's a load of crap, right? He's yelling at him.
Explain then. America, explain!
Right? He's all mad, grabs something off the desk, hucks it at the wall, smashing into a picture that then hits the ground.
Oh no.
In the exact same position it was in when they first walked into the room.
I mean, at least they're following the timeline of whatever happened, and they can't stop it from happening because that's what's going to happen.
Yes. And, so, like, he kind of is like, whoa. Well, Tyler and Paulina, because she walked in for a second, are suddenly gone from the room. The lights are swinging back and forth, though, and he's like, what the fuck? And he sees the super decrepit old man again that he pushed against the wall. Just going, you must die, over and over again, right? Until he disappears and turns around and there's Tyler and Paulina that are like,
what the fuck?
You okay, dude? You know? And he storms out of the room. He's all pissed. He's like, this is all your fault. And at Paulina and leaves because, right? Yes. And she's all like, it is my fault. I shouldn't have made us come in here. Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. If I didn't insist on us going in here, we'd be sitting at the bar, laughing about how big of an asshole Alan is and stuff. Tyler goes, yeah, you're right about that. We would be laughing about how big of an asshole Alan is. But the rest of this isn't your fault. And I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It literally is, though.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of your fault, too, because you were like, could cause structural damage. Like, it just...
Like, you should have just been like, creepy old bunker? Peace.
Yeah.
We're going to build over there.
Right? I just...
Okay.
Dig the whole thing out, maybe? Just...
Yeah. Build one less bungalow?
Yeah.
And, just don't go over there?
Yeah, I just...
Something.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so they kind of get close for a moment. Just kind of, their faces are kind of...
back and forth is too much.
I know. And then she kind of, okay, Dave gave me this doll, right? And he's
Change
like...
of subject.
Right? But yeah, so... She goes, Dave just gave me this doll, and he thinks that we need to, like, find the other doll and reunite them together, and maybe it'll, like, get us out of all of this. But don't you think that's kind of silly? And he goes, I just told everyone that I think we've traveled back in time. I think I'm ready to try anything right now. And she was like, all right then, okay, we're going to do this.
That's fair.
Right? Well, Alan storms off to find the radio room, and he sees that Pepe had smashed it and has even more bloody cuts on him now, right? Okay. So he chases after him, and Pepe, like, dives into the cave that they saw earlier and is just laughing maniacally the whole time. And Alan now thinks that Pepe is actually a protester at trying to keep the white man from building here, kind of a thing. He thinks it's the whole, like, he's been playing the long con this whole time, right?
Oh, my
and I'm like,
goodness.
you watched him actively being like, like cutting himself, and I'm just like, anyway.
That's a long con for you.
Right?
That's commitment.
Yeah. Paulina tells Tyler that she's going to go check on Dave again to make sure he's okay. Doesn't mention that he tried to choke himself or anything, but, like, whatever.
Okay.
But she sees something run past the door. And she kind of like, what the fuck? And peeks out and she sees just little wet footprints along the hallway. So she follows after them because I don't fucking know why. And she sees a very sopping wet boy sitting on the floor around the corner. And he goes, Mommy? And she immediately,
no.
yes, sweetheart, it's mommy, it's me, right? Just like immediately just
no.
caves. And like most other people would be like, what the fuck, right? But she immediately caves. And he's like, I'm cold. Where were you?
Oh, no.
And she's like, I'm sorry, sweetie. I should have been watching you. I'm here for you now. Like, just, you know.
My mom's heart.
Yeah, and she reaches out to him. He's got his back to her the whole time, and I was expecting a jump scare right here. It's not. He looks normal. And he's like, did you forget about me? And she's like, of course not. I love you. And he runs to hug her, and as he gets to her, his face is bloated and disgusting, like he'd been in the water for hours, right? And like super dead, and just screaming, why did you let me die?
Oh my goodness,
Yep.
that trauma.
I know. So she freaks out, flails back, runs into Tyler, and he grabs her. He's like, hey, it's not real. Whatever you just seen, it's not real, because she's obviously flailing and freaking out, right? And so he's like, what is it? What did you see? And she goes, her son drowned 6 years ago. He was 6 years old, and she had taken him to a pier, but she was also on a date with a guy, and she literally looked away from him for just a second to say something to the guy, and then looked back, and Jack was gone. And she thought he'd gone into the water, and so that's why she was in the water. He did go in the water. His body didn't wash up till the next day.
Aww.
So, yeah.
Don't go in the ocean.
Right. And so she feels so guilty about that she had for just a second not been paying attention to her son, but someone else, and felt like, you know, she lost him completely, kind of a thing. And so she's like, well, that's why I can't be with anyone. I just can't. I can't do it because it's not fair to him, kind of a thing. And I'm like, where's the dad? I don't know who the dad is. Right? I don't know if they were trying to imply that Tyler was the dad. But like,
or if it just like was out of the picture,
or just I don't know. Yeah, they never mention who the dad is. So like, I mean, I guess you don't need to, but like, it's just I don't know. But the whole time though, I was like, is Tyler the dad? Is Tyler the dad? Kind of, and I thought, oh, maybe this is what broke them up. But they're still in love with each other, but they can't because of Jack. No, that's not it.
Okay.
So as they're just kind of talking, Tyler just like really understandingly kisses the back of her hand and just kind of like, oh, I got you. You know, still like, it's okay, I'm here for you. Well, Alan walks up and he's like, well, little love tunnel, huh? And gets down and he's like, well, that's why you've been so standoffish, Paulina. And starts like brushing his hand over her chest, like down, you know, her shirt a little bit. And he's like, you should have just told me. Well, he's going to be one lucky guy. And Tyler's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And Alan goes, she moaned like a whore when I railed her.
Oh my God.
Tyler freaks out, shoves him against the wall, and is like, don't you ever say that to her again. I'll cut your throat if I hear you say that again, kind of a thing.
Wow.
And Paulina's like, what are you doing, Tyler? And he's like, I didn't say anything. And she's like, he didn't say anything. So he hallucinated that.
Oh.
Yep.
Wait, Tyler did or Alan?
Tyler hallucinated Alan saying that.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. But, yeah, Tyler was like, oh my gosh, okay, and like backs off and everything, and they're like, it's okay, you're just saying things. Everyone's saying things.
No big deal.
Saying things, right? Oh, yeah, so they were just like, you're okay, you're hallucinating. And he goes, oh my gosh, I was reading this in the diary, and like hurries them off back to the other room.
Seconds you were looking at the diary?
I know. I don't know when he had time to do this. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so Tyler explains that he was reading the diary from the last Japanese guy, and the same thing happened to all the soldiers from before. And that they were hearing and seeing things too. As he shows them the diary, we get a flashback to the best acting of the whole fucking movie. These guys fucking nailed it. The whole time. Every word that came out of their mouth, the whole time I was like, ooh. It's Japanese. I'm reading subtitles, but I was like, oh shit. Like, just... Oh, okay. Like, they were in it. These are actors. Okay. I mean, these other people, they did okay. They were fine. But, like, fucking, they cared. They cared in this. Like, they did good. Okay. Anyway. So, let's see. They were talking about how one soldier was, like, starting to go a little cuckoo, you know? And they thought, oh, he's just been cooped up here for a while, like, whatever kind of a thing. But he was digging at a wall in the room that they decided to make their, like, latrine room, which was at the very back. And it was still under construction, so it wasn't completely done. But I think it was probably where they were going to make their back entrance as well, like to get out kind of a thing. But they hadn't yet. Anyway, the one soldier is digging away and yanks out the doll that the Japanese soldier had in his pocket that Pepe now has. Okay. It was packed into the mud that was sealing up a hole.
Ah.
Yeah. So the commander throws it to the floor and is just like, this is bullshit. Get back to work and stuff. A little while later, they come back and he's still desperately digging into the hole. Okay. And so they get through it. They all go through it because they see that it's an actual, like, cave entrance. They're like, okay. So they go through and they called it the passage to Gehenna. Okay.
Oh, good.
I don't know why they knew the word Gehenna because I didn't think it was a Japanese word, but they used Gehenna as the word. So, like, just, anyway. But it's where the curse originated. Okay. And they go in there and they find a practically mummified man. Okay, which is the Spaniard with no face. His eyes are like weird, bulbousy red. Like, like he's been mutating to get used to seeing in the dark kind of a thing. I don't know, because he's been down there for a very long time, right?
Is he alive?
He's alive.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
And they obviously can't understand him, what he's saying and stuff, but he's speaking at them in Spanish, but they don't know what he's saying because they speak Japanese. And anyway, one of them attacks him with a shovel and knocks him down because he's, like, coming at them. And they're like, what the fuck is this, right? And as he's dying, or, like, he's laying there, and the soldier I want to call him the general. I don't think he was a general, but I'm going to call him the general. Okay. So the general goes up and goes to, like, poke him with his little short katana blade, right, to see if he's alive. Well, he sits up and makes him stab him into the gut. Okay. And says something to him in Spanish, again, and then just kind of falls flat, dead. Well, they didn't like being in there. They all got the fuck out, right? So, right then, too, boom, and the whole place starts to shake. Oh, boy. Right? So they're all kind of freaking out. They all go to the door to try to get out, but they can't get the door open. The same soldier who was going a little cuckoo first goes a little more cuckoo and is just laughing and none of us are getting out. Ha, 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 right? And just is scaring everybody else. So the general shoots him and kills him, okay? He wrote down phonetically what he thought the Spaniard had said. So he managed, like, with Paulina speaking Spanish, they figured it out enough for it to say only one can live. Oh. Okay. Cool. And that they were all trapped just like the team is now. The general shooting the first soldier, the rest of them all just kind of went crazy, started fighting each other. And so I think he killed off whoever was, like, just being crazy to each other, and he was the only one left. Okay. And he felt so guilty about killing all of his men that he decided to pay for it with his own life, except he didn't die. Oh. So... okay. Yep, he came back. Okay. Yep, Alan thinks this is all nonsense and goes off to find Pepe because he thinks Pepe is going to try to kill them. He's not wrong. So they all go off in their own little directions, yada yada. Dave is alone in the barracks, okay, when he is attacked by his sister again, what he thinks is his sister, and he's freaking out just like, Claire, no, blah, blah, blah. But he's recording the whole time because he couldn't see properly, so he was looking through his camera trying to, like, see the the night vision. And anyway, but they hear him screaming and go running into the room, like, immediately after he's killed, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? And they see that he's there on the ground, bleeding out, or, like, just dead. And she's all like, no, Dave, no. And Tyler's like, oh, it must have been Pepe, right? And he grabs his camera because his flashlight's starting to, like, go on the fritz. So he's going to take his camera so that they can try to see in the dark, right? Mm-hmm. And he also grabs a pole to go off, and they hear chanting coming from one hallway, and they go to follow after it, and his flashlight's, like, fritzing out, so he's using the night vision on the camera to see. Well, he hears crying and sees someone in the dark, but she can't. She keeps trying to pull out her phone and use the flashlight, but it's blurring out his camera so he can't see, and so he's just like, just stop, I need to see, when she comes rushing towards him, this figure, okay, with a bullet hole in her head. Oh, no. Okay, and he freaks out. Right? And it happens so fast, you can't really tell who it is. But if you've seen it enough times, I know who it is. So he freaks out, just kind of starts crying. And she's like, oh my gosh, Tyler, what? What did you see? And he's like, I saw. And just hugs her. Just, like, pulls her into a hug, right? Just hugs her. And she's like, okay. And she's like, it's okay. It's all right. We're going to get out of here together. And he's like, yeah, we're going to get out of here together. We got this, right? Sure. So they keep going down the hall, and that's where they find the latrine room, okay? And they find one soldier's body, like, floating in the, like, big old, like, I'm pretty sure they were trying to make it a bathtub. Okay. Because there's just it's disgusting water. It's all disgusting water, but a body's floating in it. Okay. The other Japanese soldiers are piled into the hole. that was there, like just stacked in the hole.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was the Japanese guy that did it. Like, he was just trying to plug up the hole or something, but I really don't feel like he would do that to his own men.
Yeah.
Like, even going crazy. I don't know. Because he seemed fully sane the whole time.
Weird.
Even when he was going a little nuts. So, like, just...
Okay.
Anyway. So, I don't know. I can't tell if it was Pepe or if it was just... I don't know. Anyway. So, they see it, or they see the bodies there, and they're like, oh, we should probably go through that hole. And they start pulling all the bodies out. The bodies look like they've been dead maybe hours. Like, they look very fresh still, you know? And, so they go to, like, look in, and Paulina pulls out her phone, and she gets another fucking jump scare of her son, freaks out, and blah, blah, blah.
I just don't understand seeing a hole plugged up with bodies and thinking, we should move those bodies and go through that
go in
hole.
there. You're right?
No.
I don't know. No. Yeah. So, as they're right there, Alan runs into the door, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I found you guys. And they get up, and they're like, oh, Alan, Dave's dead. We think Pepe killed him, right? And Tyler runs over to show him because they got it partially on camera. They can hear Tyler being attacked. They just can't see who's being attacked. And Alan is like, oh, yeah? And stabs Tyler in the gut.
Oh.
And he goes, that was me. How? They heard him screaming for help and ran in right after he died.
Okay.
There's only one door into the barracks. So, and there's, like, the long hallway they were in.
Magic?
I guess.
Time travel?
I don't know what the fuck Alan is doing now, but he fucking did it. Okay. So, if he's the one killing people, I don't fucking know. Anyway, but yeah. So, he stabs Tyler. Tyler's like, oh my gosh, like, stumbling backwards. Paulina's like, why? And he's like, you think I'm going to wait until this place makes you go crazy and you try to chop me up? No, I don't think so. I'm going to strike first.
I'm going to go crazy first.
Right? And I was like, oh, okay.
That's
That's exactly right. So he grabs one of the shovels that the Japanese guys had left right there and goes after her, but she dives into the tunnel opening. And it's fairly small, but you had bodies stacked in it. I don't know why he didn't just crawl right after her, but he doesn't, and it's stupid. Anyway, so maybe he crawls after, I don't know if he goes through the other opening, maybe he crawls after, they don't show him crawling after her, but like, he's like, I'm gonna get you, kind of a thing, and she goes through the tunnel, and she's got her flashlight on, and I'm just saying, for as much as she used that flashlight, that battery is lasting, like, it's... Anyway, but she runs and she falls over the dead Spaniard that we saw from before, right? And she gets up, and we also see another mummified body sitting there. Okay, but it's like sitting at an altar, like its legs are crossed. It looks very much like it was purposely placed there. It's fancy. So Pepe is suddenly there in the dark, being a creep, and is like, oh, but Paulina's also reading the Spanish words that the Spaniard had written on the wall that were saying, only can live, torment to all, witness for eternity, torment for eternity. Okay. Right? And then Pepe's standing there, and he's like, oh, you finally understand that the Spaniard was kept here for 300 years alone, and he's still cutting himself the whole time. And she holds up the female doll, and Pepe's like, you shouldn't have brought that here. That his ancestors didn't want them to be together.
So it was the locals.
The locals had kept them apart. Okay, and she was like, that doesn't matter anymore, Pepe. The dolls want to be together, right? And she's trying to convince him of that kind of a thing.
No, buddy, hey.
But their love is eternal. They're supposed to be together.
He's Spanish though, right?
But yeah, he's a local.
Is he a local or is he Spanish?
He's a local, but
But is he a local because he's Spanish?
I don't know. I don't know. But he just says his ancestors don't want them to be together. But he's not a Spaniard. But he's a local Saipanian.
Now.
I guess. I don't know.
Doesn't mean his ancestors were, though.
I don't know.
That's what I'm wondering.
I have no idea.
I know. I'm just trying to piece it.
I know. I'm so confused. I have no idea.
Because that could make sense. If his ancestors were Spaniards and they came here and tore them apart.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Because everything that that was saying it was from before was that the locals had taken their bodies and split them up. Like, I don't know if it was, like, purposely to curse the land to, like, punish the Spaniards, but, like, I feel like there's better ways to do that than separate a married couple who are like, fuck you guys. Like, I would be pissed, too. Like, anyway. So she's telling him, like, they want to be together, and he starts, they belong together. So he takes the 2 dolls and he kind of starts doing this little chant. I don't know what he was doing.
That seems too easy.
I know. Alan shows up, hits him with the shovel.
Okay.
Right?
Fucking Alan.
Fucking Alan, right? And Pepe stands up and yells, "No forgiveness!" and cuts off the head of one of the dolls.
Okay.
I don't know what that does, but it does something. So anyway. So Alan cracks him with the shovel again and knocks him down. And Paulina's like, "We had a chance and you ruined it." And he's like, "I don't understand what you're talking about." Crack, crack, crack. And he just keeps hitting Pepe.
Ugh.
And the whole time, though, Pepe's like, "I'm protected by the spirits. Like, you can't hurt me." Even though he's, like, physically getting hurt.
Yeah. But,
like,
he's not gonna die.
But
maybe he's, like, the one survivor.
He dies. But, like, it's just... But, like, it's like he's not feeling the pain.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's
so, like...
high on something.
Something, yeah. But, like, you see him getting hit in the face multiple times with the shovel, and, like, bits of his face just keep, like, ripping apart from the shovel, which the CGI on that was terrible. It was so bad. They didn't do a whole lot of CGI in this movie, and you think they could have put a little more effort into it. So just
a little more budget.
A little bit. They start fighting while Paulina just fucking books it out of there. She gone, right?
Yeah.
And they're struggling. Alan finally stabbing Pepe in the chest with the little short knife that he had. And Pepe goes, "You win, boss, but you do not understand," as he falls back and he rips off Alan's sleeve. Okay. And it shows that he's got this tattoo on his arm, right? Okay. And Paulina runs for it, coming across the latte stones again. So I guess it was like this big old loop, which if that means that's a loop,
Nothing makes sense.
Because I don't understand why the Spaniard guy couldn't have gotten out then, because there was a fucking other opening, and I'm so mad. Anyway, Tyler wakes up and it pulls the knife out of himself, dresses the wound, looks down and sees the camera glitching out and picks it up to see what it's like showing right then. Okay. Suddenly seems to understand everything and hightails it out of the bathroom, just kind of like...
Good.
Yeah, clumping along. Alan chases after Paulina, which is just kind of goes on for a while. Anyway, she runs back into the bunker finally, and she goes and gets the gun from the Japanese general, which all of this is maybe taking place over like 3 or 4 hours, okay?
Okay.
And she is struggling to get the gun out of the general's hand, which I'm pretty sure rigor mortis takes a lot longer time than that. Especially, they're underground, so I
have no idea.
I'm so confused. I just don't understand. Anyway, but she like struggles to get the gun out of his hand, gets the gun out of his hand, and now has a gun, which is great.
I mean, it could just be because his muscles were already tightened around the gun.
Maybe.
And so it's hard to like open them.
I don't know. She definitely struggled longer than she needed to, that's for sure. That's all I know. Anyway, Alan runs around the corner and she's there and she's got the gun and he's like, "Whoa, okay." Drops the knife and he's like, "All right, Paulina, whatever." And he lunges at her still as she's like yelling at him that we had a chance, and he's like, "Whatever," jumps at her. She shoots him in the gut and he goes down. Okay. And then Tyler shows up and he's like, "No, don't do it," because she's about to shoot him again. And he's like, Don't do it. And she's like, "What? Why?" And he comes up to her and goes, "Only one can live." And she seems to then finally understand what he's talking about.
Okay.
And slowly gives him the gun, nodding to him in understanding. Mm-hmm. She apologizes to him, and they kiss each other. They tell each other they love each other.
And he shoots her in the head.
Alan goes, "Fucking get on with it already." And Tyler shoots her in the head.
What?
Mm-hmm. So he then falls against the wall next to her, obviously clearly upset. And Alan is like, "Just you and me, Tyler. Didn't think you had it in you." And Tyler's like, "You still don't get it," as he's yanking off his bandage that he just put on himself because he's very bleeding out, right? Yeah. But I feel like his stab wound was a lot smaller than the gunshot wound, so I just don't. Anyway, he's like, "If you live, you lose. You lose worst of all." And he says that as he, like, bleeds out. Or, like, as he's bleeding out, he looks at him again and he says, "After all, doesn't all this look familiar? Us here in the dark in about 70 years." And then dies, right?
Okay.
Yeah, slumps to his death. And suddenly, Alan's wound is gone.
Oh.
He's no longer hurt.
Because he can't die.
Because he can't.
Because he's just going to be this little old decrepit man.
Yep.
Cool.
And he gets up. "I won! Yeah! Woo!" Just cheering and just all excited for himself. He's like, "We did it! We did it!" And I'm like,
Who's
did
we?
What? There's no we.
No.
And so he's just all excited about it. And then he sees Dave's camera sitting on the floor that's still glitching out and showing the images and stuff. And so he picks it up to look at it, and that's where he sees the video of himself getting attacked by the decrepit old man, who has a tattoo on his arm that looks exactly like his own. I know.
Shock.
I know, right? And realizes that Paulina and Tyler are sitting in the exact place where they found the bodies earlier and stuff.
Come on,
and
buddy.
just,
Come on.
Yeah. So honestly, this was his best acting I've ever seen of him, because he's like, oh my gosh, as he realizes now
that he's fucked.
Smashes the camera over and over and over again, screaming, no, just like, no. And that's when all the lights just kind of start going out, one after the other, as he screams into the darkness. Well, the darkness fades again, and we're suddenly seeing a perspective of Alan as the decrepit old man, as the group's walking into the bunker, and them coming into the room that he was in, and beelining it straight for himself to tell him that he must die.
Yeah.
The end.
Okay. I mean,
what I appreciate about this one is it's the time travel loop that
you can't stop.
Yeah, it's happened because you did it.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of time loop that I appreciate. So there's that.
Yeah.
But there's just so much of this movie that I don't fucking understand. I already kind of addressed some of it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the locals would want to keep, like, if they have an ancient chief that they were super proud of, and his wife, who their love was eternal and they're supposed to be together forever, why you would separate them?
Yeah.
Why you would do that?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Why? That's so fucked up. Like, because the locals did it. They were the ones that cut the dolls apart. So, like...
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't fucking understand that.
I don't know.
I'm, like, livid.
I feel like the main premise is kind of a cool idea without, like, all of the bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever curses and stories
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, that's kind of a cool idea. But then you throw everything else in there and it's like, what? Cockamamie, what?
I know. Like, I was so confused. I was trying to talk to Shalice and Wendy about it when we watched it, and we were like, wait.
What?
What just happened there? Like, how did that... What?
Who is this and what is happening?
Yeah.
And what? Yeah.
Thank you. Where's Dave to tell me what just happened? Like, I just...
Yeah.
There's so much that I was like, this is so convoluted when it didn't need to be this convoluted. Also, why didn't the Japanese guys go back in time to the moment when the Spaniard guy was there?
Yeah.
As a young guy, not 300 years later when they opened the cave.
Yeah,
like,
that's weird.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Also, why didn't the Japanese guys seem to go back in time and find themselves in the fucking bunker?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do that.
No.
So why was it just their group that did it?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Like, because you were like, aren't they very modern pants? And they're the same pants as she's wearing, basically.
And we didn't fucking notice that.
Right? If you were wearing pink
Yes,
slacks,
they were like coral pink slacks.
How would you not be like, that body's wearing the same thing I'm
right?
wearing?
Like, and she was wearing a tank top because Paulina was wearing like kind of a button-uppy shirt with the two pockets in the front kind of a thing, but her shirt gets ripped off later, so she's just in a tank top, okay? And why would you be like, yeah, why is she in a tank top? Those are slacks, blah, blah, blah. Like,
from the 40s or whatever, yeah.
But, and of course women weren't wearing slacks in the 40s. Not coral pink slacks, that's for fucking sure. Like,
yeah.
I just...
Okay.
They never for a moment were like, oh my gosh, that kind of looks like... There was also, I forgot to mention it earlier too, they found a smashed up camera on the ground too, but like, saw it for like 2 seconds. So they, like, it's...
They're just like, oh.
Yeah.
The ruins of the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just, there's so much of it that I was like, okay, fucking okay then. I just, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like, I don't know how you wouldn't see that
Mm-hmm.
and be a little bit weirded out.
I know, be like,
that.
she has the same pants as me kind of a thing. Like, just...
Something.
You know? Something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're probably a little faded from time. 70 fucking years of, you know?
Yeah.
But, like...
But also there's no sunlight.
There's no sunlight.
So, I don't know.
But I'm just still so confused as to why the Japanese guys didn't go back in time to when they fucking entered, like, when they would have entered the cave in the first place. Or why, when they first entered, there wasn't a bunch of dead Japanese guys in the cave or whatever. Like...
Yeah.
Is it just because the bunker was built there that now the bunker is the reason why it goes back in time?
But
or is it... But why would it do that?
It should just be the land.
Yeah.
So...
I don't fucking understand.
I don't know.
I don't...
That makes
And
no
I
sense.
just don't understand how the Spaniard guy couldn't get out of the cave if there was clearly another opening. Because she doesn't crawl through the bathroom to get out. She runs past the latte stones and runs up the steps that they went down earlier to get to the latte stones.
Okay. Unless it just loops back around to the same one?
No.
Okay.
Because she would have had to crawl through into the latrine room where she would have found Tyler and they would have run off together. But she ran through a different exit.
Okay.
There's 2 different exits. Like,
I mean, I want to say that I would probably understand better if I had watched the movie, but I really don't think I would.
No, I watched this, like, twice now.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it again. I just can't. I
2
cannot.
is enough. So you don't recommend people watch this?
No, I don't. If you want to sit there and try to figure it out better than me and try to explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old, please do. Because I can understand time travel movies for the most part. I get that there was time travel. I don't understand why the Japanese guys didn't time travel. I don't understand why there had to be all the extra hullabaloo. I don't understand how the Spaniard guy wasn't able to get out if it's a fucking loop.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
Well, because the Spaniard guy... Because he was just in its own cave, right?
No. Well, so yes, that's what you are led to believe.
It's just like one big cave room?
Yeah. But Paulina was in that room with Pepe and with Alan.
Okay.
Yes. When she ran away from when Alan and Pepe were fighting, she did not go through the same hole that she came through.
In the latrine room.
In the latrine room.
That's what you're saying.
She went past the latte stones and up the incline that they went down in the earlier part of the movie to get into this little tunnel room. Like, it's just...
Okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Unless he, like, in these 300 years, eventually dug himself a nice little tunnel.
Maybe.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, what else are you gonna do? I swear he straight up looked like a fucking cave bug.
Yeah.
At that point, though, when they killed... I would have killed him, too. I would have been like, just fucking die! Like, just...
Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
So I think what could have made this a little bit better, because I got really excited when you talked about the picture frame dropping and like that becoming like we've seen this before. Like, I feel like there should have been more of those.
A little of those kind of moments.
Yeah, people would have been like, this is happening.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, they had the moments where they were like, oh, everything looks like normal again. Like, it looks like they
replenished.
Yeah, and it looks like it's brand fucking new. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. But, like, yeah, they didn't have little moments like that where you thought, oh, hey, that's maybe what... They should have had more moments like that. They shouldn't have had Tyler think that they went back in time immediately.
No.
Honestly, she should not have been wearing pink fucking pants because I would probably have not guessed... First of all, I wouldn't have guessed that was a woman body right there. They only guessed it was a woman body because of the pink pants.
Yeah.
Okay? But, like, there's no skin left on that thing. Okay? So there's no boobage. There's no nothing. Like...
No curves.
You know, there's nothing. Yeah, it's just a dead fucking body.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of hair, but I would have been like,
Who knows?
you know, and I just...
Yeah. Like, if they had given, if they had done more time travel-y clues, and then maybe, like, gone into the pantry and everything was all put together, and they were like, wait, what's actually happening? Or, like, something.
And I just think it's really weird, too, that, like, both, Dave and Paulina were seeing things from their past, but... Alan was seeing things from his future, and Tyler was seeing Paulina dead coming to him.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's weird to me.
Yeah.
And
unless that's just kind of like the thing that haunts him.
Like it transcends time. Kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I really feel like, I don't know, I wish that he had been Jack's dad, and it had been them, like, that's what split them apart. And it was still them loving each other, even after that terrible tragedy. But, like, she just felt like she couldn't be with him or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, not just, like, I can't be with you because blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And making all this weird, awkward, like, oh, so how are you doing?
Yeah, just little moments like that. And
we don't need that.
Yeah, it's so, I just got frustrated.
Yeah, I bet. I can understand.
Yeah. And the first time I watched it, I was sitting here, because, I mean, this was a few years ago, and I was just like, why the fuck does he know Japanese? And, like, as an adult, you're adult now, I'm like, because he fucking does it for his job, duh. Fucking, like, I always get mad when they're, like, people know other languages for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so you just fucking know that. Okay, Dave, you just fucking know that. Like, just,
I mean, it makes sense if it's one of those, like, I took French in high school or something, but it's like, I speak Mandarin. You're like, why?
Yeah. But I'm like,
cool,
but he makes sense
why?
Because he actually goes out and does all these things. So, like, yeah, that makes sense and stuff. And she speaks Spanish because she goes to a lot of these resorts and, like, that's what she does. And, like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, it's good things to know. And, like,
And, like, the only reason for the witch doctor person at the beginning was to draw their attention and also drop the doll. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have just, like, found it or, like, okay.
You'd think that a witch doctor praying over, like, the mouth of the cave would have been very careful with that fucking doll. Like, and just, I don't...
Also, if there's a witch doctor praying over the mouth of a cave, don't.
Maybe, don't. I just don't.
Turn your ass around.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say.
Yep. I don't know. If you want to watch this movie and see if you and Tony can figure it out better than I can, please come back to me and we can have a little part two about this. Yeah, we can rehash because I don't, like, the things that I'm just most mad about is I don't understand why the locals would do it to themselves to curse this fucking part of the land unless it was to punish the Spaniard. If that's the reason why, but that's stupid. Like, you're then cursing your own land.
Yeah, can you not just put a curse on them?
On him?
Or, like, or do it in a way that you're not, like, sacrificing your own people?
Yeah.
Or
maybe
something?
Or, I don't know, fucking, like, pissing off an ancient chief of yours and his fucking wife, because I guarantee you, if that was me, I wouldn't stop there. I wouldn't be like, well, this mouth of a bunker stops me. No, the whole fucking island would be cursed, and as far out as my powers could reach, I would be cursing every fucking person and be like, who's putting me back next to my husband? Because he doesn't know how to do his own laundry. Okay? Just kidding, Zach.
Not Zach,
laundry,
not Zach,
but like,
not Zach. In this alternate
hypothetical.
We love our husbands. We kid.
But yeah, I would be so livid as this fucking chief goddess, whatever.
I feel like it would just allow your, like, witch bitch to come out.
I'm fucking cursing everybody up in here.
Like,
Maleficent didn't go hard enough, is all I'm saying. I honestly would be super pissed off too if I was just like, oh hey, the king and queen had a baby and they didn't want to fucking invite me because I am a bad guy.
I literally watched that yesterday.
The original? Or
well, not Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
But yes. The old one.
Yeah.
And literally she shows up and she's like, hey, party. And the fairies are like, you weren't wanted.
And she's like,
fuck you, fuck me. Okay.
I was gonna give a gift to the baby, but now I'm gonna fuck all y'all. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is you straight up just, you know that there is this ancient evil deity, goddess lady, super powerful lady.
Yeah.
Couple of castles away from yours.
Yeah.
You're not gonna invite her to the princess. Like, if I was Maleficent, I would have been like, you thought of me?
Right?
Thank you. Yeah. Like, I may be evil, but I'm not that evil. Like,
I know, right?
You know,
Maleficent literally is like, oh, I'm not wanted. How awkward. Mm-hmm. And then the queen goes, you're not offended, are you? Like,
bitch! This is how offended I am.
Have you seen me?
Yes.
This queen fairy of evil.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Anyway.
But yeah, no, I would. You bet your ass. Like, there's so many times when people are like, if you had a superpower, what kind of a superhero would you be? And I was like, hero? Sorry, no. I would be a villain.
It was Agatha all along.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. It would be bad. But anyway.
You have not done your ratings yet.
I haven't. Yes. Okay. So, what were they?
Filming, CG, story, and acting, I think.
Bad, decent.
Okay.
Yeah. They did have in the practical effects, okay, in that moment there after Pepe got smashed in the face a bunch of times, they did use the CGI for the smashing of the face.
Yeah.
It's understandable,
so. Yeah.
yes. But when he's laying there on the ground after he gets stabbed, it's very different from the CGI that they put on his face. It's definitely practical makeup, but it's gnarly looking and, like, it's not perfect, but I give them props for it. I give them props. They got some good props. The bodies that they had were pretty good looking, all mummified and gross and stuff. The only one the fucking body of Alan when he's old and decrepit is so... I'm gonna go get my iPad here in a second.
Okay.
It's fucking hilarious. Okay. It's so funny. Anyway.
How was the blood?
Not bad. Not bad, actually. Like, it was pretty decent.
There has to be a lot of it because he was, like, cutting himself and people were dying.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. When he was, like, it actively looked like he was cutting himself.
Nice.
Like, it's, yeah. I mean, I'm always a person that, like, if you're gonna cut, you have to, like, show, like, the muscle and the tissue underneath, too. But it's always just like, oh, here's the skin split apart. Like, no, I accidentally cut myself with a box cutter.
Oof.
Fucking thought I was going to die because some of my skin tissue was, or, like, the tissue underneath was coming out.
Ugh.
I thought I probably should have gotten stitches. I didn't get stitches. But, like, I straight up thought I was going to die. It's, like, right here on my leg. Like,
I remember that. Mm-hmm. It would cut through your pants.
Through my pants. I was really sad.
Yeah.
But like, and the one fucking time I had been working on a project, the one fucking time I didn't have the mat over my over my lap to protect my lap.
Yeah.
That's when I did it, and that's when I cut myself.
Yeah.
So like,
that's what happens.
Fuck me, man.
Every time. Now you've learned.
Yep. Now I have my little table saw.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. No, it's not actually. It's got a safety guard on it.
Good.
I mean, you could still cut your finger if you like really got in there, but like. You'd have to really get in there.
But yeah, like we haven't seen each other in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, so they did decent on that kind of stuff. Yeah, they really didn't have much CGI going on.
Filming?
The filming was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Just like average?
It was average, yeah. Okay.
Just story.
It was better than most B movies, but not nearly as good as like A-list movies. Yeah. Okay. Story sucked balls. I hate time travel movies. I can handle a time travel movie, but you threw in all this extra bullshit and I stopped caring.
Could have been cool.
It could have been cool.
Wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. It sucked. I hated it.
Okay.
Acting was okay. Everyone was believable, at least, except for Pepe. Sorry, Pepe. You just went a little too ham for me. But Japanese guys, peak acting. So good. They're like yelling at each other and stuff, and they're like getting up in each other's faces, and I loved it because I've seen a lot of Japanese movies too.
Yeah.
And
you? What?
I know, right? But no, I thought they were great. I thought like I was like genuinely invested in their part of the story. I didn't care about the rest of the group. I was like, more Japanese guys, please. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Okay.
So, yep.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
If you guys want to check it out on Tubi and tell us how we're wrong, please do so.
Please do. Please correct me. Please do.
Please explain it. Make it make sense.
Yep.
Why is this a 4.9?
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for suffering with me.
Oh, no problem.
Yes.
Every week. I'm here for you.
Struggled so fucking hard taking these notes. So hard.
Well, thank you for sacrificing for us.
I mean, there's movies where I'm like, I struggled through this. I struggled through this one. But, okay.
Well, we made it for you.
Yes.
We love you.
We love you.
Sorry.
Have a good time.
That's what we say.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm okay. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. Let us know what you think by leaving a comment or sending us an email at bmoviebashpodcast@gmail.com.
You can listen to our episodes on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Apple, Amazon Music, and Audible, or you can find the video versions on our YouTube channel.
If you want to support the podcast, you can find our Ko-fi link on our Anchor page. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends.